When you look at yourself, you see a face of a person, yes? A human being. But do you know what...
Hey guys, this is Gohan6425 on YouTube, the one and only. And right now, you are watching the one and only great WGS-TV.
Hello everyone, welcome to another installment of WGS-TV right here on YouTube.com/WrestleGamer and ZFX-TV. I'm the WrestleGamer, Don't Be Emily Boudreaux, and on this installment of WGS-TV, I'm going to take you back to 1992. More specifically, October 25th, 1992. The significance about that date? WCW Halloween Havoc. Now you had your host of sorts, Tony Schiavone, and Bruno Sammartino, as they were kind of like the hosts, kind of setting up the matches a bit, and your commentating team was Jim Ross and Jesse the Body Ventura. And it was, and one of the big cards was the spin the wheel, make the deal match. Excuse me, between Jake the Snake Roberts and Sting. You know, they heavily emphasized it being an unsanctioned match. So I'm going to talk about it when I get to it. But I'm going to look at the opening match. The opening match was a six-man tag featuring Arn Anderson, Beautiful Bobby Eaton, and Michael PSAs taking on Z-Man, Tom Zink the Z-Man, Shane Douglas, and Johnny Gunn. At first look, Johnny Gunn kind of resembled Tom Brandi, who we all know in WWF was known as Salvatore Sincere. So I'm kind of figuring that's probably who Johnny Gunn really was. You know, it was Tom Brandi. I could be wrong about it, but in essence, you know, getting to see a good six-man tag, I thought it was great. The finish of the match came with Johnny Gunn hitting a Lou Thesz press on Michael PSAs to get the victory for his team. So your winners are Z-Man, Shane Douglas, and Johnny Gunn. Second match, it was Flying Brian Pillman taking on Ricky Dragon Steamboat. Now, around this point in time, this is right around the inception of the Flying Brian Pillman heel gimmick. You know, where he's had the change in attitude, and, you know, this was before the Hollywood Blonde incident. You know, the Hollywood Blondes tag team, I should say. So this is like right around the beginning of his heel turn in WCW, as he took on Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, and getting a chance to see both these guys. I'll tell you what, these guys right here really understand and really made with me being the kind of person that I am, and I love watching classic wrestling. The only thing I could do was just sit back and enjoy it, and that's exactly what I did with Flying Brian and Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. The finish of the match, it was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat countering a cradle pin into another pinning combination, and he caught Flying Brian Pillman. So the winner of the match was Ricky the Dragon Steamboat. Now, match 3 was for the United States Heavyweight Championship, but there was a lot of controversy about it. Because, you know, the champion at the time was Ravishing Rick Rude, but he was also slated to have an NWA Heavyweight Championship match with Masahiro Chono. And Cowboy Bill Watts, who was running WCW at the time, made the announcement that Rick Rude would have to wrestle twice. Now, with Rick Rude being a part of the Dangerous Alliance with Paul Heyman, who was known as Paulie Dangerously. For those of you who don't remember, the Dangerous Alliance consisted of Paul Heyman, or Paulie Dangerously, Ravishing Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, and Beautiful Bobby Eaton. That's what your Dangerous Alliance was at that time. So, Rick Rude had his lawyers, and Paulie Dangerously had his lawyers file an injunction on the match, and they made a ruling that Rick Rude can have a surrogate in the match, but if Nikita Koloff would defeat Big Van Vader, who was Rick Rude's surrogate, then Nikita Koloff would win the United States Heavyweight Championship. But if Vader would win, which turned out to be what actually happened, because Vader hit the power bomb on Nikita Koloff for the victory, but Rick Rude would retain the United States Heavyweight Championship. And I gotta say, you know, Big Van Vader in his heyday was a monster heel in WCW. WWE had an opportunity to utilize him properly, and they dropped the ball, as far as I'm concerned. Up next was the unified WCW Tag Team Championship match, which featured the champions, Barry Windham and the Natural Dustin Rhodes, and it was originally scheduled to be Dr. Death, Steve Williams, and Terry Bam Bam Gordy. Now, due to Terry Bam Bam Gordy, from what they announced on WCW, that his contract had expired, he was no longer allowed to participate in the match, so they allowed Steve Williams to pick a partner, and he chose Stunning Steve Austin. You heard me right, Stunning Steve Austin. And they were also trying to emphasize that Barry Windham and the Natural Dustin Rhodes were having a lot of issues at the time, and you know, they put together a little video package of them having some disagreements and whatnot. But anyway, long story short, you know, it was a WCW really heavily emphasized time limits in their matches, and this one went to the time limit draw. But I gotta say, I again really enjoyed the match. The NWA Heavyweight Championship match really had some controversy, because both Masahiro Chono, who's the defending champion, and Ravishing Rick Rude were allowed to pick their own referees. And there was a coin toss whether, you know, and the winning team would have his referee in the ring while the other officiated from outside the ring. Now, the reason why I say there was a lot of controversy, at one point in the match, that it looked like Masahiro Chono was going for a drop kick. Rick Rude drops out of the way, and Harley Race eats it right in the face, taking him over the top rope. And while Kenzu Sasaki, who was Masahiro Chono's appointed referee, was going to see about him, Masahiro Chono throws Ravishing Rick Rude over the top rope, which at that time in WCW, pardon me, at that time it was illegal to do in WCW, and anyone who was caught throwing someone over the top rope was an instant disqualification. Now, apparently, while Harley Race was on the outside, he witnessed Masahiro Chono throwing Rick Rude over the top rope. Kenzu Sasaki did not see that. Masahiro Chono puts Ravishing Rick Rude back in the ring, applied his signature STF submission, and Kenzu Sasaki ran into the ring because of Harley Race being unable to do it, goes into the ring and registers the submission of Rick Rude, and he was declaring Masahiro Chono the winner. Harley Race would step in to overrule him, saying that he disqualifies Masahiro Chono for throwing Ravishing Rick Rude over the top rope. So officially, Ravishing Rick Rude wins by disqualification, but he does not win the NWA Heavyweight Championship, but he still has the United States Heavyweight Championship. The WCW World Heavyweight Championship was up for grabs as the All-American Ron Simmons was defending against the Barbarian with Cactus Jack in his corner. Cactus Jack working a heel gimmick at this point in WCW, and the Barbarian was just right there for the ride. You know, the Cactus Jack really made this come to life, in my opinion. You know, he was the more animated of the two between him and the Barbarian, and you know, he really brought the heel out of the Barbarian for this match. And you know, it was an all-around good match. You know, you're used to seeing power versus power when it comes to Barbarian and the Ron Simmons. The finish of the match came down to Ron Simmons hitting what they called the Seminole Power Slam. Of course, Ron Simmons has his jersey retired with the Florida Seminoles of college football. So he hits the Seminole Power Slam on the Barbarian for the pin and retains the WCW Heavyweight Championship. And finally, the big main focal point of Halloween Havoc was the spin the wheel, make the deal match between Jake the Snake Roberts and Sting. Sting having the option of spinning the wheel. There were 12 different types of matches, and whatever the wheel would stop on is the matchup that they pardon me, whenever the wheel would stop on is the type of match that they would have. And the wheel stopped on the coal miner's glove match. Now what this was is, it was a coal miner's glove. It was wrapped, it was like a metal glove wrapped in barbed wire, and they placed it on top of like a 20 to 25 foot pole, and you had the option of climbing the pole, grabbing the glove, and being able to use it on your opponent. Now, with Jake the Snake Roberts and Sting having this huge rivalry and this huge feud, you know, it would kind of make sense that they would have them try to settle it, you know, even though it never really got settled in this match. All around, this was a great match. Now, what had happened, you know, this really leads up to a very infamous incident in WCW. As Sting was going up to grab the coal miner's glove, Cactus Jack comes out from the back and brings out Jake's bag. And at this point in WCW, Jake the Snake Roberts was bringing around a Cobra. Of course, we all know is devenomized, so none of you PETA freaks out there can, you know, rest your little cells, calm your little hearts down, because you know, this was a devenomized snake. And we all know Jake the Snake's history when it comes to handling snakes. He don't have a problem with it. The guy freaks me out. But anyway, as Cactus Jack was bringing that out, Jake the Snake was putting on the protective glove and was going to grab the Cobra, and he was holding the Cobra, unaware that Sting had already climbed up the pole, came down, had the coal miner's glove. He struck Jake with the coal miner's glove, and as Jake the Snake went down, the Cobra latched onto the face of Jake the Snake Roberts, Sting getting the pin, and they quickly drugged Jake the Snake Roberts out there, they being Cactus Jack, and you could literally see the blood coming from the face where the snake was latched on to him, and that's how they pretty much end the show. And of course, the next big pay-per-view at that time was Starrcade 1992, and if WWE Classics on Demand would be willing, I would hope that, you know, we would get a chance to see that next month, or maybe in the month of December, because that's when Starrcade was always held. It was in the month of December, so you never know. You never know. Overall, today's wrestling fan would not watch this because of the fact that there are so many, you know, there are only a few recognizable names to today's wrestling fan, like Michael P.S. Hayes, Shane Douglas, Brian Pillman, Ricky the Dragon Steamboat, Steve Austin, Dustin Rhodes, who we know as Goldust, and Sting. I want to say that today's wrestling fan would not know who Tom Zink was, Johnny Gunn. They probably wouldn't even know who Arn Anderson and Beautiful Bobby Eaton were. They probably wouldn't even know who Nikita Koloff was. So I want to say, for today's wrestling fan, they probably would not have enjoyed this. However, me being a big fan of the classics, I really enjoyed this, you know, and this is for the true wrestling fans who followed WCW way back in the day, like yours truly. It was great watching. I'm glad that WWE Classics on Demand put this up, and I look forward to seeing more great WCW events from the past on WWE Classics on Demand. So overall, I have to give it a 4 out of 5. What I want to know now from you guys out there, the viewers and subscribers, your thoughts about Halloween Havoc. back on October 25th, 1992. Be sure you put your comments in the comment section below. Don't forget to like and favorite this video, and also don't forget to check out WGS-TV on Facebook, which is facebook.com/WGS-TV, and don't forget to please subscribe to youtube.com/WrestleGamer and youtube.com/ZephyxTV Network. By the way, guys, if you're wondering why I don't have, usually on my reviews I have a pick for best and worst match or segment. I'm not going to do that on the retro reviews. The retro reviews will be handled a little bit differently than the normal reviews of Monday Night Raw, TCW, and whatnot. So with that being said, guys and gals, I'm the Wrestle Gamer, Double P Billy Boudreaux, saying thank you very much for watching.
Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. Spiritual medium. Stoke answers. Stoke answers. I'm Haley, ring rose. Stoke answers.
My name's Andrew Weatherall.
Spiritual medium. Stoke answers.